But to lead off today, I want to get into this Joe Rogan versus CNN story. I think it means a lot because CNN is supposed to be the propagator of news, the propagator of facts, the propagator of truth. But that is not what we've seen happen when it comes to in terms of Joe Rogan and their infatuation with him saying he took ivermectin. Ivermectin? I believe it's Mectin. But they don't like that. And surprisingly enough, CNN's top doctor, Sanjay Gupta, agreed to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. Took some cojones to go do that, knowing that your company went on a whole press run to discredit Joe Rogan. When he caught corona, it seemed like some people were genuinely happy that he got corona. A lot of those people were on CNN, which is crazy that you would wish that upon somebody. All because he's not telling people to follow the same thing that you guys are telling everybody they need to follow. Does that mean you wish evil on that person? I don't think so. I don't think that's the route you take. But that seems to be the route that CNN took. And it looks like it's, it bit him in the ass. Because when Gupta went on Joe Rogan, he admitted that they lied. He pressed him on the facts and got him to admit that CNN lied. The FDA has been lying, at least when it comes to ivermectin. Because apparently there are other companies working on things similar to ivermectin so they could put patents on, because the patent is the patent's away from ivermectin, so it's so cheap to make apparently. So I can see why, pharmaceutical companies would be like, we don't want you doing it. We're not going to make no money from it. That's the thing, money. If you follow the money in so many things, you see the outcome. You see how we got there. You see the clearer picture when you view the money trail almost every single, like 99.5% of the time. You follow the money, you can see how a lot of opinions get to where they are. You can see the reason why the news is skewed the way it is and things like that. But I have a clip here from Joe Rogan responding to Don Lemon, because after Sanjay Gupta went on Joe Rogan, he had to go back to work. I believe he makes about $4 million a year there. Oh, and they couldn't wait to put him on the spot. They tried to flip. They tried to find a technicality in what they were doing at CNN. They tried to say, no, we wasn't doing that, even though they was. They was pushing the fact to try to say Joe Rogan was using animal drugs versus something that's been given to humans and something that won a Nobel Peace Prize for the work is done with humans. Apparently, this is another situation where science only matters when my feelings are protected. So let me get into this clip here from CNN. Well, from the Joe Rogan show on the response to Sanjay Gupta coming onto his show.
What he said.
Now, I do not know what the motivation for demonizing this particular medication is. Again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist, but I would imagine some of it has to do with money. The reason being is that it is a generic drug now. The patent has run out, so anybody can make it, and it's worth like 30 cents a dose. Now, Merck has its own antiviral that's supposed to do the same.
So yeah, that's something I was touching on. When patents run off of drugs, that means they're open to the market for generic brands to come in. And if you can create a generic brand for the drug, it becomes dramatically cheaper. And the pharmaceutical companies don't tend to make as much money. If you don't know the history of the FDA, it's funded by pharmaceutical companies. Usually at the head of the FDA is somebody who works for a pharmaceutical company or is going to take their next job there at a pharmaceutical company after they're done. So the agency that's supposed to watch and regulate drugs is funded by the people they're supposed to watch and regulate. That's like me telling kids to regulate proper eating when they have access to a candy store. They're going to eat all the damn candy. Every time. If you have no way to stop a kid from eating candy, they're gonna keep doing it. They will keep doing it. And I believe this is partially the case. Well, more than partially. Because the FDA has approved drugs plenty of times that, they come back to backfire later on down the line. That's not always the case, but it tends to happen. Because, again, you're giving the people making money for something the chance to regulate themselves. And in business, you cannot regulate yourself because you're always going to... We live in a capitalistic society. You need regulations. Let's get back to this story here.
Thing that they claim ivermectin does, as does Pfizer. They're both about to release it. I don't know if that's why the FDA is making snarky tweets about it being veterinary medicine, but I do know that it was used for humans for fucking years before they ever started using it for animals. And I also do know that there is a massive amount of medications that have veterinary applications, including penicillin.
Well, Joe, it's like me calling Child Protective Services because my neighbor was feeding her baby cat food, and by cat food I mean milk.
Yeah,
it's insane. Like,
it's insane.
Dogs take Xanax and all these other things. So it's...
Wait a minute, dogs take Xanax?
Yeah.
Now, that's something I never heard of, a dog on Xanax. But, we're in a drug culture America. So, hey, why not?
Like anxiety-ridden dogs?
Of course.
I guarantee it's the person.
Or cats. Yeah. Well,
Come over to my house. My dog just lays down.
I met Marshall.
belly.
Yeah, he's a sweet. He doesn't need Xanax
because he's fucking.
He's a dog.
He's
happy.
chill.
Yeah. But
actually, some people get rescue dogs. I should take that back because I did have a dog that had anxiety because I got her when she was 2.
Or maybe it's an older dog gets a puppy and the dog doesn't know what to do. Yeah, there's situations. Whatever.
Yeah. That could. They think they're. Yeah. That could.
But I don't think it's necessarily about the money so much. It's about obedience. Because they're the ones who are promulgating how everyone has to act. And then you have this guy from Austin over here, this comedian, telling people there was another way and the science isn't as settled. And all of a sudden, their sense of authority is diminished because when you have choices, that means that person who wants to be the one to go to no longer is the one who has all the answers.
Well, this is what is so funny about that. They don't understand that when they say things that are absolutely untrue, it diminishes their authority. They're not even aware.
Yeah, it just seems like that elite circle, they don't realize that regular people be like, They be wondering why their numbers keep falling off, and you see why their numbers continue to fall off is because of falsehoods. Falsehoods go a long way to why people will want to turn you off. And the corrections to the falsehoods are never big stories. They're little tickers on the bottom of the screen while you continue to opinionize what news is. Because it's not getting straight to the facts. In a lot of cases, it's biased takes on things. People give their feelings on what the news actually is. And I'm not saying people shouldn't, but it should be known. It should be something that's stated. Because, again, you end up in situations like this.
What they're doing,
like they have an alternative.
When Don Lemon goes on with Sanjay Gupta and says, "Actually, it really is a veterinary medicine. It really is."
But that's not what this was the lie. He goes, "It's not a lie to say it's also used as horse medicine." He goes,
that's not what you said.
Yeah, that's not what you said. You didn't say this drug, which also is used for horses. Of what relevance is that?
It doesn't have any relevance. Exactly what you're talking about with penicillin and with like a gigantic number of medicines that also have veterinary applications. But by doing that, you just prove my point. They don't even understand what they just did. You think no one's like it's going to end with you? See, because it used to be that way. They would say something and no one would have recourse.
Do you know what this is?
YouTube definitely changed that a lot. Independent media definitely changed that a lot. The fact that people have more voices hurts the mainstream media. Even though they have a lot of control, they still got a lot of sheeps. They're losing some of that control. They definitely know they losing some of that control right there.
You're saying something, and then the person you're saying it about has literally 10 times the audience you do. You dumb motherfucker. Do you know what you did? You just proved my point.
And Joe ends it right there with, the dumb motherfucker comment. And he's right in this case. CNN has painted themselves in the corner where you can't win, because if somebody actually goes do the research, not everybody's going to go do research. They come to you because they don't want to do the research. But Joe Rogan audience is gigantic. It's bigger than your audience. You can't lie on somebody who has a bigger audience than you. That's a hard fight to win. And he's saying it right. You putting yourself in a position where there's no real true good outcomes for yourself. Because now you're attacking a man with a bigger platform. And he brings on scientists, he brings on doctors, and the people he brings on tend not to, carry along the same narrative that you like to push in a lot of situations. This is why people want to shut up Joe Rogan. Because he's having conversations they don't want people to have conversations about. This is why they want to shut down Joe Rogan. But they're failing because they're finding talking points that are weak. The ivermectin thing was, they can spin it to their audience and to the people who are not paying attention. They're going to, look good. But they're preaching to the choir. Because when somebody who's not just going to, be a sheep and just say, hey, this is CNN, they got to be 100% correct. Because I know some people, I worked with people like that before. They believe everything CNN says. And I'm like, how did you get to this point? How did you get here? Or MSNBC or even Fox News. How did you guys get here? You know what I'm saying? Do you not read? Do you not view different talking points or different opinions on one situation? Because you can't take one opinion or one side on the situation. You need to hear the whole spectrum of an argument to completely come out and have a strong opinion to take. Or to take a strong stance. If you don't understand the full spectrum of something, you should never take a strong stance on anything without having all the information you possibly can. Literally. Because, they're in a losing fight right here with Joe. Their audience is much smaller, much older, and he's only getting bigger. I don't know what to say for these guys. Like, CNN definitely fucked up in this situation. He's 100% correct on this one. 100% correct. It's your boy DJTheParkBoy, and I'm here with a special product for you. I got some Delta 8 weed from JK Distro, and I'm saying it's amazing. It's clean, smokable, and the best part is they deliver it right to your door. Because of the 2018 Farm Bill, it's now legal for them to have Delta 8 weed sent through the mail. That's right. And if you use promo code FLOSS1, you can get some clean, smokable weed sent to your door. Direct. You have options. You go right there to jkdistro.com. You look at all the strands they have, which is a lot. You can even get you some edibles. You can get you some wine. Anything in between you can think of. You put in promo code FLOSS1, you're going to save you 20%. So go ahead, hop on that now. Make sure it's in the description.